Hiya Hinsters, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome too. Today we are getting back into my Streams of Creme Brulee series, aka All Things Venusian, and honoring her transits. And as you may already know, Venus is entering Gemini right now, has entered Gemini already actually, and will be there until roughly around May 7th of this year, 2023. But before we get into that, I'd like to let you know that I am launching an exciting new High online course. It's an introduction to spiritual astrology, a 6-month course starting in June this year, which will have lectures, seminars, assessments, and cover all the signs, planets, and houses through a spiritual Hellenistic lens. If you're interested in this, I'm offering also 12 scholarship places for those who may be a bit pressed for pennies but would still like to take this course. And also for everyone else, I offer a very generous rate of just £69 for the total course. And I'm very glad actually to be offering this course, and I can't wait to see some of the Hinsters in class. And one more thing, of course, we are still in Aries season right now. So as usual, if you're an Aries Sun or Aries rising as well, and you book during your season, you get 50% off an astrology reading with me. All my details to book anything or to inquire are below in the description box, and I look forward to hearing from you. All right, so Venus, Gemini, Venus in Gemini. Now, I'll keep it brief here in this video, but you can always subscribe to my High course, where we will be spending an entire class on Venus, just on Venus, where you can find out much more and go in really in depth on Venus. You can also book a general reading with me if you'd like just to know more about your particular Venus placement and the 2 houses that Venus rules in your birth chart. So anyway, broadly speaking, with Venus, we're talking about a goddess who expresses through the archetypes of the vibe, the beat, the rhythm, of love, of hot desire, of relating to others, flowing with others, of ceremony as well, and of good old light-hearted fun and joy. Venus is a benefic planet, and she will rule 2 of your houses, as I said before, in your birth chart, wherever you have Taurus and Libra. Venus also grants us the beautiful things in life, like ornaments, and also its rituals and things you pay homage to and honor. This is also Venus, and also olives. If you didn't know already, Venus rules olives, and she has left her domicile sign of Taurus now, and she is in Gemini. And what is Gemini? Again, you can take my course where we'll go way more in depth regarding Gemini. But for now, just know that Gemini is a double-bodied or mutable sign. It's an air sign and it's masculine in nature. It's also the temple of Mercury. And this is very important for us to know when we look at transits and planets that are just about to or just beginning to transit through a new sign, because the host of that temple plays a big part in how any transiting planet is treated and how supported or hindered it may be during that transit. With Gemini, we have so many different things expressed. We've got the Joker, the fox, the winged insect, we've got the twin, the messenger, and anything or anyone that is of a flitting nature, that which can at once be super witty and stimulated and then completely detach and shut down. So naturally, a Venus and Gemini transit can bring plenty opportunity to sort of spice up in this more masculine mercurial way, sort of spice up the speed and the dialogues of our current rhythm. And it can also invite us to pay more homage to our minds and how we are logically moving to fulfill our desires, and it can bring loads of jokes and laughter, but watch out for being sucked into gossip and drama and two-facedness. Stay away. I've picked some dates of interest as well for me as an astrologer, and we'll go through them in a bit. But just yet, look out for what Venus might be expressing for you around these times. To illustrate then this Venus in Gemini transit just a bit more, we can look at some tarot cards, and I've picked the Star. Hopefully you can see. This is the Star in the Rider-Waite traditional tarot deck, which you're most likely to see, that deck. This is the Star. And I also picked the Lovers. The Lovers card, there it is. Lovely. And one that you might not expect, but I also picked the Seven of Pentacles for this particular transit. There you go, you can see that man having a lovely gander of those pentacles. And I picked the Star because there's going to be a lot of Aquarian energy involved in this particular transit. And Aquarius being the temple of Saturn as well. Saturn's going to be very involved in this transit. And for the Lovers card, this is classic Venusian stuff. We could really pick it every Venus transit. But also we see here echoes of the Geminian desire to connect on really cerebral levels, to kind of, I described this before on my channel, but kind of this Princess Nokia Gemini princess energy of creating sort of cerebral, mental, relational sort of orbs. Kind of chaotic sometimes, but these orbs are kind of amalgamations of just all different kinds of people and experience, and it's all encapsulated so cleverly, wittily, beautifully, and it's catchy. And yeah, you do get with people who have very prominent Gemini placements, you do get a lot of rappers, poets, spoken word artists. You get a lot of people who are just very quick on the ball with their wit and all the rest of it, but also people who have a great way of pulling together just the everyday, the mundane, and the universal as well at the same time, and putting it all into something really interesting, quirky, and funny. You get a lot of comedians as well who have Gemini placements, and often Gemini Cancer, sort of that boundary, brings a lot of stand-up comedians. But anyway, the Seven of Pentacles I've chosen because Venus does also rule Taurus, as I said, which is a very earthy sign, and because this transit will have us assessing things a bit more. So, by the way, some examples of famous people with Venus in Gemini natally include Jennifer Lopez, we've got Gabourey Sidibe, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, and we've got Jessica Simpson. Anyway, where do you have Gemini in your birth chart, and what are you experiencing right now? Let me know with a comment down below, and let's get talking about Venus in Gemini. Well, for me personally, this transit's going to be in my 12th house, which is a house of hidden treasures, of hidden things that need to come out. And I've long held the belief that wherever Venus sort of cruises in your chart, there's a softening added to the more difficult themes and experiences of those themes in that house. And I've been starting recently to get back into my soul's passion for learning foreign languages, and I will also soon be leaving my home country to teach language. Also, if you're a Cancer rising, I'm a Cancer rising. For some Cancer risings in this Venus in the 12th house will bring out potential for hot, steamy relations of the pleasurable kind, because Venus does have a secret joy, I call it. Venus has lots of secrets, but she's got like a secret second joy house and a secret third joy house, and this is like the second or third secret joy house for Venus. We'll talk a bit more about that later for one of the rising signs. But yeah, I'll be looking forward particularly to when Venus hits 5 degrees and exactly conjuncts my natal Mars. Let me know if you have any natal placements as well in the sign of Gemini. The first thing that we have to note is the tone, right, that is being set just as Venus enters Gemini or ingresses Gemini, which is, as we know, Mercury's temple. So Mercury will actually still be in Taurus. It still is in Taurus, which we know is Venus's sign. And so what we have here is a kind of mutual reception, a potentially very beneficial cosmic conversation, and a kind of mercurial returning of the favor that Venus has been granting as she transited Taurus this past month. And to me, although Venus is said to lose dignity by leaving her sign and entering the peregrine or neutral sign of Gemini, I don't feel this particular transit will be bad because of that mutual reception. Second, as soon as Venus enters Gemini, she makes a magical trine, which is to Pluto in Aquarius, which I read as this Venus in Gemini transit being about an unearthing of blessings for many people. And this will give intense beats and more human focused rhythms and just ways of flowing and conversating. And it will invite us to relate more realistically to people and to be joyous and kind without ego, hopefully. It will bring, I think, for some, these cathartic, very raw conversations as well. Venus will be also starting a square with Saturn in Pisces. So Saturn is also playing a big part in the setting of the tone of this Venus in Gemini transit. And so I do ask at this point, are we moving to make our dreams coherent? And also, is there a feeling of lostness getting in the way of the joy of the ideas? Squares always present challenges and agitation. On April 13th, we've got that square now exact to Saturn, so even more pungent. And Venus will be trining the moon and Pluto exactly at that time. And so this gives the potential for real, deep, serious mental breakthroughs for some people, serious reconciliations, and nourishment as well of form, because Saturn is associated with originative nourishment and soil and creation, really, but only really if you know what to do and can pull out the emotionality sometimes for the sake of a more kind of enlightening purpose. On the 16th of April, Venus will sextile the moon in Aries, and Venus rules sextiles. It's this very beautiful type of traditional aspect, which is where things are just ready and waiting to happen. They just there. Everything is prepared. It's like mise en place energy. So another gorgeous aspect here. Very likely to be a good or exciting day for us. And I'd say to just jump into things and to say yes to that which fulfills burning desires and that which promotes love as well. On April 20th, Mercury stations to retrograde in Taurus. So here we have reversals, although I see positive reversals more than negative for many people. And I also see friends returning and just kind of more rejoicing. On April 23rd, Venus and the moon will be conjunct. So we've got two benefics together. I do consider in astrology the moon to be a benefic as well. That's more love. It's maternal magic. It's sweetness. It's refined comforts. Now, around April 25th, 26th, that kind of mark, Venus makes a sextile to Chiron. And as some hinsters know, I am a Chiron rising person, so I always consider Chiron in readings. And here we have potential for a great day for things like music and musicians. This is Mercury as well, by the way, right? Hosting, remember, Venus. And this is also Venus, and this is the the moon just having left, and this is Chiron. And so we've got a lot of potential here for just enjoyment of things like music, and also for nursing, and for nights of pleasure, and for nighttime sauntering, that kind of like just joyful walk at night that you have, maybe even on your own, because Chiron is the lonely night wanderer archetype as well. April 29th brings us another sextile, and this time with the moon in Leo. And actually, this is when I've planned my goodbye dinner with my friends before I leave the country, and it's a very good opportunity for easy pleasure and opulence and adornments, and also a good time to get a haircut if you're looking to get a haircut or do something cool with your hair or beautiful with your hair. On May 4th, we've got Neptune and Venus squaring, so another square, though Neptune is in Pisces, which is the sign actually of Venus's exaltation, so that kind of Disneyland placement. So I don't, again, read this so negatively. Rather, there could be some gentle pushes to stay mentally focused and to continue to be giving of one's self to others, and it may bring fantastical urges and impulses for some people. And this is actually only a few days after Beltane as well, although many of the kind of big fire Beltane festivals will officially be held, I think, on dates like the 4th and the 5th of May, the 6th of May. So I just basically I see the late part of this Venus and Gemini transit being so filled with elation and big party vibes. It's a great time to just have a party. Finally, on May 5th, this is big potential stuff because we've got another sextile, this time to Jupiter. And this is huge promise to have something desired granted. It's also things like public benefactors, it's crowns, it's lots of merriment. It's a big time for friendships to be big and beautiful, and to have more giving and receiving in your life, and more rejoice again for others and for one's self. Okay, so let's quickly take a little look at what Venus may be doing for each of the 12 rising signs. Once more, you can take my Hinny High course and get to know more about the houses, but here we'll keep it short. So if you're a Gemini rising, Venus could bring all this good stuff to you personally, you as an individual, to things like your aura, your health, and your body. If you're a Cancer rising, this again is all about that 12th house stuff, which can also include having to go abroad, things like hidden enemies being reconciled with. That's what I get for this transit. And also an honoring of talents you may have sort of for a long time buried. For Leo rising, this is brilliant. This is Venus in your 11th house of divine blessings. Sort of rain down on you from the gods. It is friendships and also alliances. For Virgo rising, this is in your 10th house, and you are being seen in a beautiful life publicly. You're up there virtually, and it can also mean things getting much better for you career wise, and you may even be in a good position to give and receive quite generously. For Libra rising, this is in your 9th house, and you could be being invited to follow a new kind of optimism or religion or faith. You could experience interesting interactions as well with teachers and guides, or people who have that kind of teacher vibe, and there could be some useful messages coming to you in your dreams as well. For Scorpio rising, Venus enters your 8th house of shared contracts, anxiety for the future, and debts. And I see many things softening for you, Scorpio rising, and some of you may be reaping some very big rewards. For Sagittarius rising, this is in your 7th house, where we have partnerships, marriages, and negotiating with other people, as well as open enemies. And there may be some makeups, especially as the Mercury retrograde kicks in. For Capricorn rising, this is 6th house stuff. And I see here an improvement in health, a lessening of your suffering, and also some opportunities to receive good things. For Aquarius rising, we've got Venus in your fifth house, and this is actually the true joy of Venus, and it's the house of good fortune, and you will likely positively experience themes pertaining to things like children, your livelihood, and material fortune. Yeah. For Pisces rising, this is happening in your fourth house, uh, where there may be some good things coming up for you relating to your subconscious. Perhaps also good things coming back from the past for you, and it could be an excellent time for you to decorate your home or to bring more joy and laughter to your home. I see Pisces, some house parties for you. For Aries rising, this is your third house. So look out for good things going on right on your doorstep and in your neighborhood. And it's also a great opportunity to communicate with people in a more joyous and generous way. And it's a great time to go on a lovely trip out of your city, town, or even abroad. Finally, for Taurus rising, we've got your life path ruler, Venus, transiting the second house. And this is highly likely to bring good stuff for your seed planting activities. And you could even be on a bit of a cooking kick, some of you, or a foodie nutrition kick. And this is also the perfect opportunity, Taurus, to give back to the world in some way. So that's what I have for you on this Venus and Gemini transit. I do hope you have a lovely experience of it, and get in touch if you would like a reading with me, and enjoy. Yeah, the rest of this week. Today's Tuesday due day. The moon's in Sag right now. I'm loving it. And then we've got hump day tomorrow. And yeah, stay tuned for my next video, and we'll see what the topic will be. Anyway, bye bye. Take care and all the best. Love you.